Once you got the idea of encapsulation, let's see the practical implementation of it. Let's say I have a class called as student, and this class student knows about two variables. I already have a student class. Let's go with employee. Okay, so let's say I have a class called as employee. This employee has two variables. One is employee, we'll say emp id, and second thing it has is emp name. So name and id, right? And let me create some employees here. So let's say my first employee is emp e1 equal to new emp, which is new employee. And let me create some more objects. So let me create these three objects. So we'll say emp2 and emp3. Now I have three objects here. Now let's say I want to assign a value of emp1 employee id. So I will say e1 dot employee id equal to, let's say, 3. Instead of 3, we'll go for 2 just to reduce the work. We'll say e1 dot e name is equal to, let's say, the name of the employee is, let's say, Navin. And for second employee, we can do the same thing. We can say e2 dot employee id as, let's say, 5, and e2 dot employee name will say is 1. So we have this two objects now. Now the way I'm assigning the values is I'm directly using e1 dot emp id. That means from this place I'm assigning a value to this variable. That means anyone can access your variables with the help of object, right? But your values should be private. So all your data members should be private. Now you can see we are getting some errors here. It says your variables are private, you cannot access from another class because private variables can be accessed from the same class. For this, what we can do is we can use some methods which are responsible to assign the values and which are responsible to fetch the values. And this method will say they are getters and setters. So how to use getter setters? We can just right click. We'll say insert code. We need getter setters for both the variables and say generate. So you can see we got the getter setters for both the variables. It is get name, get employee ID and set employee ID, get employee name and set employee name. And these members or these methods are public, which are accessing our private variables. So you can access those private variables from the same class. Now what I can do is I can simply say it as, instead of using directly a variable, we can say e1 dot set employee ID as 3 and emp e1 dot set employee name as Navin. Right, so this is how you can assign the values. So instead of assigning value in this way, because variables are private, you can use methods. How to fetch it? Let's say I want to print. So I will say e1 dot get employee name. Since this will not work because we are getting an error, we made our variables private. So we'll comment this part and let's run this code. And the output we'll be getting is Navin, right? It's because we are using a method called as get employee name. Simple. And yeah, that is the example of encapsulation. That is, we are binding our variables with methods. Clear? And in fact, this emp is also called as bin now, is because we are making sure all your variables are private. So that's it with encapsulation. Thanks for watching and do subscribe for further videos.